I don't want to surround myself by people that are going to keep me in an ugly place.
Real talk.
It's okay to eliminate toxicity or negative people out of your circle. That doesn't mean you have to have a full-on brawl with them, or
just disassociate.
You have to.
A little distance.
We face our problems every day. It seems they'll never fade away. The world may bring us down. Tonight we're gonna turn it around. So let's put it all on the table. Talk about it if you're willing and able. Life's love and insecurities, and a laugh or two. Come and take a seat. So bring your concerns to us. Together we can discuss what's on your mind. No matter what you go through, just know we'll be here for you every time. Let's talk about it. Blind Table Talk. Let's talk about it. Blind Table Talk. We gotta be about it. Go ahead and walk the walk. So let's talk about it. Blind Table Talk. Let's talk about it.
What it do, y'all? Welcome back to Blind Table Talk. I am your host, Joe Fleeks, also known as Security of the Community. Welcome back, y'all.
Yes, and I am your host, Saida Victoria, aka Sassy Sai. So glad that you guys have joined us once again this week. So happy
Y'all
to have
already
you.
know. Y'all already know. Once again, we got another good episode for y'all, but y'all know before we get into this meat and potatoes of this, we got to do a little dot our I's and cross our T's, right? We got a little PSAs.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
So
indeed.
as
Yes, indeed.
always, make sure y'all check out the website, www.blindtabletalk.com. Got our resource list. We have upcoming events, and just find out a little bit more about BTT.
And also come be a part of the family and join an email list, that info@blindtabletalk.com as well, where you get our newsletters, you get a part of the cash drawings, and you just be more informed, So, please join.
Yes, of course. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. We do have that at Blind Table Talk, and we have our podcast episodes that are there, but also Blind Table Talk Uncut. So there's additional videos and stuff that will be uploaded there, and so much more.
Y'all don't want to miss
come.
out, man. Y'all don't want to miss out. It's hot.
And one more thing, can't forget, shout out to Mind's Eye Radio. We do stream on mindseyeradio.com.
Big salute to Mind's Eye. We appreciate y'all for sure.
Every Monday, you can catch our episodes there as well. Just another platform for you to be able to hear us on. So
whatever you want to check us out, you know where to find us. Go ahead and do that.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, I like this one today. What is that? We get to talk about self.
Yes.
I really feel like the community needs, this type of conversation for sure.
Yes. So, of course, we do have our BBI discussion talk, and that is going to be about self-development.
Yes,
and
indeed.
This is from, again, Joe and Sai. We are not doing society's views on how to self-develop.
Just a little enlightenment conversation.
Yes.
And if you just so happen to take something from what we're talking about and, add it to yours, hey, kudos, you know what I'm saying? Or, do the opposite, kudos. Whatever you may use this for, useful.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And then we have our interview.
Oh, man.
Yes, we do it with Mr. Blind Justice.
Justice.
Yes,
hey.
Content creator.
Yes, indeed.
He's
doing good things out there, man. Y'all need to go check it out. I can't wait to see how he hit his interview. Check out his channel.
Yes. And Joe, that was with you. I missed that one. I was not able to sit down with him. But it was a great interview.
We still handled it. We still
did
that.
And
yes,
and
indeed.
it was good. It was very,
we miss your presence, though. Always.
Oh, thank you. So, all right. Well, you ready to go?
I'm ready to eat. Ding, ding. Chow time.
Let's
get
go.
into it.
Blind Table Talk, yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, it is that time. Let's go ahead and get into our BVI discussions. And
Man, let's jump into it.
tonight, yes, we're going to go ahead and let's talk about what? Self-development.
Yes.
Yes,
How
self-development.
what it is to better ourselves and the journey we take, man. It's
Yeah. Yeah. And to specify, it is, tips and strategies for self-improvement for a blind or visually impaired person. Okay. Because it differs a little bit. I mean, it's all
Mhm.
one and the same, but we have
Yeah.
our own little, um,
Let extra modifiers or
yes.
let
Yeah.
other ways of doing things, and so we're just going to talk about it from truly our perspective, and I enjoy the ride.
So when you think self-development, when you hear that, right, just for you personally, what would you think or would you say comes to mind as far as how you want to self-improve or what you think is the most important to work on for you?
Immediately I think of the stages I need to take to get to that better improvement. Like, where am I at right now? I look at self and like, okay, this is where I'm at, and I think about the things that I truly want to have as a skill set, just as values on how I carry myself, and I compare, like, am I truly at that point? And so I think about those stages to get there. So it's just like, what do I need to do to better the attitude, or to better the health, or to add more skills to get to this career level, things like that. That's kind of what comes to mind when I think of self development. What
And I
about
think,
yourself?
well, that's a good point though. Because I think it is about, I'm all about my organizations, but goal setting to me, it's like, you know, to develop, you have to create those goals for yourself, right?
Right, right,
And one of the things about setting those goals is, for me, is small. They have the SMART goals, right? They should be specific, measurable, attainable.
right.
Um, what was the R? Can't remember the R. You know how many times I've done this damn
I almost want to say like
workshop.
reachable, but I know that's not
Yeah,
really.
something like yes. Okay,
Yeah,
uh-huh. And
yeah.
then time or yeah, okay. So you guys get the point. Okay, don't hold us on that one. But there's a big goal, and I know one of for me for my self-development was when I went back to school. Okay, for
Mhm.
one of the things I I had to do for me because I know how I am. I wanted a bachelor's degree, but that was 4 years, right? So I knew that 4 years is a long time, and I need to see some type of reward from the work that I put in. So
I
I,
understand.
yeah, so what I did was I broke it down and got my associates first because
Mm.
I completed it.
Reachable goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I broke it down into smaller steps because I'm one of those who is motivated by reward,
Mm.
and so the reward that I got from receiving a associate's degree was like, oh damn, I could do this. Hold on, let me keep going.
Right. Motivated you
So
like, okay, I got this for sure.
right, exactly. And so, but speaking of the self development on that it is education for me.
Yeah.
Because let's just face it, y'all. The thing about it is, us as blind or visually impaired people, um, we may be and have the sense and capabilities of others, but without the degree or paperwork or certifications to kind of show that,
Back that up. Yeah.
yes,
To have
yeah,
that,
yeah,
it's that evidence, that proof.
yeah,
Like, you can
exactly,
talk
right,
all day. You can have the gift of
right,
gab, or, just
mm-hmm,
that type of articulation or whatever.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But still you need that paperwork. You need to show that you have journeyed through that, and
yes.
and the certifications from these things.
Right, and that's true. And and here's the thing though. Let's not just say we as blind people, we have to show that, work that, but sighted people do too,
Yep.
because a degree is
Well,
still
I would like, I almost feel it's even more for us blind and
Mhm.
low vision, just because just what you see. They see the white
That we can't
cane,
do
and
it. Mhm.
and the stigma that comes from that. And so it's like,
Mhm.
all right, okay, this person is talking good, but is this really? And so then you pull out the paperwork, and even then, like
Yeah.
almost still,
No, it's still. I
that's
mean, it's
almost
still
not a, you
right.
still
Yeah.
almost have to even prove on site. Like, yeah, on site, you got to really show that you can really do
Yeah.
this, and you have the
Right.
dedication and type of thing. So I get, for the sighted community, they must go through their certifications and
Right.
bachelors and have all that. But I feel for our community, it's even more indicative to
Yeah.
even put that out there, just because of like how we're viewed, and just how we have the journey of this.
No, touche. I agree. So another thing for me for self-development, in, my journey in this thing called, blind life, right, was, independence.
Mm,
Okay. Um,
I feel that.
that was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went 12 years being blind without, like, from being ashamed of my cane. So I wouldn't even use my cane out in public. I would always I wouldn't even go anywhere without a sighted person with me, honestly, you guys. I always, would make sure I had somebody with eyes with me. And after that 12 years, and I got around other blind people and seeing, God, they was moving around by themselves. And I was just sitting there
Leaving
like,
your line
wow.
just like, how I'm not about to be
Right.
left standing still.
Right.
So you developed your
Yes.
your O&M skills more,
Yeah,
right?
I did that, but not just that. I had to get the confidence, which is another
Yeah.
thing about the self
Yeah.
development is the
Hmm.
confidence, because I
Hmm.
had to
The
believe in
attitude.
myself. Yes,
Yes.
it's the attitude, the confidence, like I can do. I had to believe in myself, and sometimes we forget that we need to believe in ourselves, because if we don't believe in
Yes.
us, nobody's going to believe in us.
You must start with self before it can even
Absolutely.
venture out. You have to look
Yeah.
at yourself as the whole picture. If you're a whole picture of orange juice and you're empty, then you're not. You don't have anything for anyone. You don't have anything to
Yeah.
share with
Yeah.
another glass or anything like that. So you
Yeah.
must start with self.
And it was, and I think seeing other people, and that's why I always say, getting around others like me, that made a big difference. But in that independence, and in my travelings, and I mean now, I mean, gosh, I don't, I can't be still
Can't
now.
stop you. Yeah.
But
Right. And that's how I feel about myself as well. Like, once
yeah.
I've, saw others, I got around
Mm-hmm.
like-minded. And just even experience it from a young age of going to the school for the blind. I was embarrassed about the cane coming from the sighted community, being an athlete, being all in the newspaper for the abilities. And then now I'm
Mm-hmm.
reduced down to this cane. I'm just like, yo, I'm way too cool for that. But
Yeah, that's how, yeah.
but seeing others still like move around and being sociable and still having fun and not worrying about that image, and worrying about that type of image led to another slippery slope, which led to other emotions. And that's why I tell people, like, you have to understand where you at the time. And
Yeah.
it's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It's just about knowing your journey, and knowing what's good for you at that moment. And at that time, it was to let go of my other, personality, not, I guess, persona, or that cited image, and adapt
Mm-hmm.
to this blind individual
The
that
new
I
you.
yeah, right. And I'm glad who I became. Like, I'm into a lot of different adaptive sports. I was able to go to college, get the bachelor's.
Yeah.
My independence. I've traveled a lot. My O&M skills. It's nowhere I can't go in this city. It's nothing. I'm never stuck. So it's like, you have to develop those type of things. And I
You
feel you on
know,
that.
you know what's crazy? So this, some of you will relate to this, and some may be like, dang, that's it. When people ask me a lot of times, what is your biggest accomplishment, right?
Mhm.
And one of my biggest, and probably like this, I always think of this first. I mean, it may not be the biggest one, but this is the one that sticks to me the most. Okay.
What you got for
My biggest accomplishment was leaving my house by myself in an Uber and going to Walmart to go shopping by myself.
I feel that.
Like
I feel that.
I could not believe how how I felt when I got home with my groceries and I just went through all of that. I was
Freedom
like,
and power.
oh my God. I said
Yes.
and
Yeah.
from before that, it was always waiting for somebody to come take me to the store. It was waiting for
Mhm.
somebody to come and and when I did that and realized, man, I don't have to rely on anybody if I don't want
No,
to. You
no.
know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so that independence, and then what happened with that was it just
It
motivated
grew
me, yes, and wanted me to do more and do more
like a
and do
rapid
more.
fire. I definitely can relate. And it's funny that yours is commuting to, a retail store. Mine was just being, the lifestyle of Houston. We like to walk to commute to the neighborhood stores and
Mm-hmm.
just having to
Hmm.
wait for a family member.
Yeah.
And just
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, can y'all walk with me to the store? And you get that,
Because nobody wants to,
yeah,
right? But
I
they feel like
got
they
you. But
have
it's
to,
like, nah, I'm
right?
good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, no, 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 it's cool. You did the little breath, and I understand. And
Right.
I feel some type of way. I got to even ask you something. So when I did that, I just like, you know what? Boom, hit the door, walked it,
Yeah. Yeah.
cross the street. People looking at me like, you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Boom,
That's
did the
it.
whole store. Boom, got back home. I'm just like chest was swole. Like what? It can't stop me. And from there it was like, all right, it's going to the mall, just going everywhere, going shopping for myself. And now there's one. I pop in the stores. People look at me like, how are you aren't supposed to have some? No, I do not need to have anyone with me. I'm patient enough to wait
Oh
for
my
any type
God,
of
but
assistance.
we
All
already
that
know the
good
type of
jazz.
stuff that we get from that too. I
Yes,
remember the
yes,
whole, well, who's with you? Somebody needs to be with
right,
you to help you. So
right.
those are whole other stories. But
Definitely, because you're gonna go through that once you gain that more independence. Because it's just going
yeah,
to be, different for the society. Just to see us.
that's true. But you know what? I feel um my confidence and my independence and all that jazz, right?
Mm.
That helps me to be able to deal with people a little bit better when
Real.
they come to me with their stupidity,
Yes,
you
I totally
know,
agree.
because they could like, well, you didn't bring anybody with you to help you, and I could be like, well, damn, I should have brought somebody with me. No, I no,
Mhm.
I don't need to bring anybody with me. I got this. So are
Exactly,
you going to help me? If not, please, find me somebody that will. Thank you very
exactly.
much, and have a great day.
Bada boom, bada bing.
So
And that goes to another part. Also with that, like that type of independence, I grew more of wanting to be on my own. So then I found my first place. I end up
hmm
renting
hmm
a room from a Hispanic cat, but it was me, and I was the only one
right.
in there. And so my family was just like, man, you moved so far out, in because I was in Pasadena, Texas.
Hmm.
I was out of Houston, but it was privacy. It was me. It was mine. It was my independence. I didn't have to worry about nobody, how I washed my dishes or how I cooked or all that good jazz.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
but with that, you have to know, like you're going to want to be on your own. You're going to want to, like, now they're going to try to come around and help. You're going to be like, no, 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 I'm okay. I got this. And
Yeah.
that's gonna make you want to really, like, okay, now it's time for me to go find my own, home and do my own thing.
Well, and that's great and that's awesome and I feel you on that. But here's the thing. I think a lot of us, and I mean even you and I went through fear. Man, fear is such a
It's a big battle.
oh my
What?
God.
It
Fear,
could push you back or it could push you forward
right. I think that that's
or hold you still.
one of those that the problems with us as blind people. I don't know if it's a difference in going blind, how, we actually came from a sighted world and went blind
Yeah.
versus being born blind all your life. I almost feel like people that are born blind don't have the same fears that us as, newbie or, later in life blinders, right?
I agree with you on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think their fears and, hats off to, those
Kudos
who
to him.
set up
Like I salute to him
because
because
they have their fears are not the same as ours. And
nah,
and it's just like the fears that hold us back because we don't think we can do things, or we, again, there goes that believing in ourselves and that confidence, right?
and there's other experiences, seeing how
Yeah.
these things might work when we did have a site, and it's like, okay,
Yeah. Which is
yeah,
another reason why I always say to be around other people like you,
yeah,
right? If you are a blind person and you are surrounded by nothing but sighted people, where am I going to get that
the
confidence or to get,
relatability, all
yes,
of it,
to
exactly.
see that it may be possible for me? Because in my mind, because I'm the only blind person around, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I am stuck in this place, in this misery, because I can't see.
Or
Because I
you on the
have
other
no,
side.
yeah, yeah.
You think you're good because you got all these sighted folks around, and
So you don't need anything.
you're not
Yeah.
realizing
You're
that
not independent.
you haven't even peaked your potential. You haven't
Yeah.
even tapped into it because
Because you're
you,
relying on others.
yes, and you're set.
You're relying on others. And I don't know. I think a lot of it for me too is the type of person I was before I went blind, and maybe that can have something to do with it, with just being that I've always been an independent, on my own type of person, where handled my own
That could
business,
play a
and
role. That could play a
so
role. I hear that.
personality could
Yeah.
be a part of that. But
Most, but see, the thing about it is always, what I've learned just studying psychology and things, attitude is a beautiful thing
ooh,
because
I was just about to say that too,
it
though.
can always change. Honestly,
Yeah. Hmm.
it can be a difficult journey on the, depending on the person and their mindset, but
Yeah.
that attitude can always change. It can go from negative to positive. It just depends on how you want to go about it and believe in yourself. So you could put the work in and the time and really change the attitude and really make something better. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and that's another thing too, with when it comes to self-development too. I think one of the key things for any self is a positive attitude and positive
Must be.
energy, because
Yes.
those people, let me tell you, we call them negative Nancy's, bitter Betty's,
Debbie Downers.
Debbie
Yeah.
Downers. I don't
Yeah.
know. Is there any,
Sorry for
why,
the
wait, why?
Nancy's and the Debbies and
And wait, but why are they all female names? Or what are some of the names for
yeah,
the men?
I
Like,
ain't no
you,
Angry Mike or no
no, that did
no
no. That's I
no
never heard that one.
mean Joe. I know that's what I'm saying. We've heard of Debbie Downers and Negative Nancy, but it's
Right. Where's the
like
men that was?
there's
Because
no
men's
mean
are like
Mike or
that
mean
too.
Joes or angry
Yeah.
Joes and what I'm saying, nothing like
Yeah.
that.
Because there
Mm.
is, but they're
It's
out
the
there
average
too.
Joe, your cool
But
Joe, like
yeah,
things like that.
no, but there's still. We all know that there is male Debbie Downers,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
And these are those people that I don't care what you say, anything positive you say, they have a negative response, or
Or just a complaint,
a
just never
complaint.
satisfied, can never.
A complaint. Part of my self development is understanding and realizing I don't want to surround myself by people that are going to keep me in an ugly place.
Real talk.
It's okay to eliminate toxicity or negative people out of your circle. That doesn't mean you have to have a full on brawl with them, or,
Nah, just
fight, or just
disassociate,
you have
a
to,
little
because
distance.
you have to realize that, the energies, or you're attracted. It's natural for
Energies are
people's,
real.
yeah, and to rub
Yeah.
off on you.
And it really affects. It has impacts. Like it really can
Yeah,
trigger
and it
certain
does.
things.
I
Yeah.
had I had a really good friend, and we did a lot of things together. And I one day realized, as we were sitting there, and there was a young girl singing the national anthem, and my friend was sitting there next to me, and she was like, "Oh my God, she sounds terrible," and this, and and it just hit me like, damn, is there anything positive that ever comes out your mouth?
Like the Pope
And
baby trying. Just
yeah,
hey, way
right.
to
This
go,
is
baby. There
she's
you go.
freaking
Sing it,
13.
sing your little heart out. That way to go.
Yes.
The moxie
It-
that you got in front of everybody and did
right.
that. That's the silver lining.
And I know that that doesn't seem like but it was a pivotal moment for me in that relationship with this
Yeah.
friend, right?
Yeah.
Because then I looked back and I'm like, damn, every time, with,
Something come out your
and then
mouth.
she was sighted, right? And then she was my eyes. So every time, and I don't know, blind people, y'all know, for
Yeah,
me,
that makes you probably think negative. The way
one
she
of
probably responds to things.
well, for everything, because one of the first questions I ask is, and that's only because I want to put a voice with the image that I have in my head of this person, right?
Yeah.
So I'll ask like, oh, what does she look like? And the first thing, girl, she ugly. Girl,
Mm,
that's not what
mm,
really.
yeah, we just going all wrong from the get-go.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Just all
damn,
negative.
what, that's not what I was talking about. I meant like, blonde hair,
Right.
short. I just wanted a description but everything, like, is there anybody in this world that's pretty to you? Because, like what I had never heard her say anything like, oh, she's pretty, or oh,
Someone
she's
needs to
cute.
look at self.
Right, exactly. So those are the people. I'm just saying I kind of went off, went on my
Yeah.
little rabbit hole
Nah,
with
I hear you
that.
though,
But
but I mean, it's
so,
a part of this whole thing.
but yeah, surround yourself with people, y'all,
Yes.
that are going to uplift you and not bring you down, because this is a cliche, but it is misery loves company. And
Yes.
as soon as people try to see that you are trying to improve yourself,
Dang.
and they are not,
Crabs in a bucket. I'm
it
telling you.
is. It's sad. It's
You better
sad.
do like birds of a feather flock together and get
You
somebody
want,
who is like-minded goals and similar
yes,
things. You know what I mean?
support you, lift you up,
Real
encourage
talk.
you. Those are
Even
the type
just
of
like
people you need
eating
around.
wise, like if
Yeah.
you all you on this certain type of eating tip, and you got your partner like, oh, let's stop at McDonald's. Oh, let's like nah,
Yeah.
like
No,
hey,
exactly.
like it's
Yeah.
still you have to know what you want to, have better for yourself,
And that brings to another self-improvement for me, right? And it was my healthy eating, my lifestyle, my weight loss journey that I've been on.
Such
I
a
will
beautiful one.
I will say this about it though, be happy with who you are.
Real talk.
And that's so
First and
self-development.
foremost.
Yes, it does not mean that you have to be, Barbie, okay,
No.
or blind Barbie, whoever Barbie, because, many of us are not. But if you are going to sit there and complain about, oh, I'm so overweight, I'm this or that, but not do anything about it,
You
then
ain't changed how you ate. You ain't got up and
I mean,
walked,
and it's
did
on
any type
you.
of workout.
It's on you.
Exactly.
So you have to first be true to yourself, what
Yes.
really you want to develop and improve on yourself. If
And
you
really
are
stick to it and follow
okay,
through.
if you're okay being a bigger woman or man, if you're
Yeah.
okay with that, and because let me tell you, I know some very confident women that
Love
are
themselves,
plus
man. And I
size.
love them for it. And I ain't
Yeah,
mad at them.
it is.
Hey,
I get
by all
so
means.
empowered by a woman that is just confident in her body, regardless of what society thinks she should look like. And if they're happy with it, that's fine.
But if you have health issues on that,
Then
please,
fix your life.
please take the time, man.
Fix
It ain't
your
nothing to
life.
change to really just eat a little better. And honestly, when you start doing that, like I'm even on that now. Like my blood pressure has changed. I'm not even on the blood pressure pills anymore. It's just the energy is more. You feel better. And once you feel better, it changes a lot of the attitude, and then you motivated to do a lot more. It just
Right.
unlocks a lot more things for you, just in my opinion. So I definitely recommend, like, definitely if you have anything of those such natures going on, like for sure, take the time out and go ahead and change it up.
I totally agree. Totally agree. So what would you say? What are some other self-improvement things that you think that
Skill set. I know for me, I went to college. I did a university, got my bachelor in psychology, and really during that time, I used a lot of my visual memory to really get through navigation, like the computers. I had like screen readers, but I use a lot of visual memory to navigate like Microsoft Words and things like that, and to kind of the way I operated my journey through college. And so I knew once I got that bachelor's, I was going to have to really up my computer skills, because even while I was in the college, a lot of curriculums and courses was going to my labs, and psych labs on the website, and so I really had to get rid of it. I had to really,
Mm-hmm.
like the
Mm-hmm.
JAWS on my navigation. So I went back to a few JAWS classes. I even got to, well, one of my good friends now. I called him up. He was a JAWS trainer, AT trainer, and I was like, "Yo, I know you're busy, but do you have any available, time or whatnot, and we can make this happen. Just do some more training for me to help me get these skill sets up," and did that, and actually was able to move on to like other jobs and was able
Yeah.
to obtain
Yeah.
other job sets. So I really recommend to, you must know where your skill set is as far as like that technology of things if you want to even, go searching and attain certain jobs in the
Yeah.
way.
We just talked about that recently in one of our last episodes, the whole about technology and why it should be used. I mean, technology is it's our today, it's our future. This is where it's going. So, if you're not knowing how to use a phone, which by the way, as we said before, it is the biggest tool you can
Man,
have
real
at your
talk.
disposal.
Yes, indeed.
That part of my self development is making sure that I have and know how to use all of these tools that are available out there for us to improve our lives. That's just it. If you don't know it, learn it. It's
Real talk.
not. Hey, you can YouTube anything nowadays. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, even though there are so many organizations and things out there for us,
Yeah.
but I mean, hell,
Go
worst comes to
obtain it.
worst, you can get it.
Even Braille, like,
I was just about to say that.
because I was about to say,
Yes.
because like Braille, you might think, oh, I'm not reading Braille books, but you
Yeah,
travel through hotels.
I
You look for
know.
restrooms, you look for, room numbers. You don't realize how much Braille can really make the independence level. So like, for instance, I was for the convention, I was in the hotel and whatnot. And just a person, I guess they was there for another little engagement what they had, and they was just like, "Hey, can you press the number for me?" And then they recognized that, the candidate's like, "Oh, you know what? No, no, I can do it." I was like, "No worries, I got this right here." Boom,
Yeah,
boom. And it's
right.
like, the Braille, and boom. It's like you show people who are not aware that Braille, just having that little bit of skills help you in just many different ways. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, and it does. You're right. But you know what? Here's the thing, because let me just make this clear. I know my alphabets in Braille. I do not. I could not read a book in Braille, but even knowing the alphabets in Braille has helped me in my day-to-day living. It helps me every day. I mean, you I have 1,000 uh, Bath and Body Works lotions that I use Braille to label those, and I put the
Yeah.
labels on those
Organization,
because
right?
yeah, that's my organizational
Yeah, that's your
craziness that
way
I
of,
have. But
knowing what bottle is what,
but
because you got a
yeah,
bunch.
and but those things, and another thing about that is playing cards. I like to play cards.
Yeah,
I love to play spades. I love to play,
and that's
you know,
another thing, being social.
and knowing, I know that's next, but I wanted to finish this point first.
Yeah,
But that is, I did want to talk. So thank you. Don't let me forget. Okay. Um,
gotcha.
so, the numbers, the first, 10 letters in the alphabet are numbers, in Braille. So knowing those will help you to be able to, do that. But to add to your point about elevators, I never realized how much Braille would come in handy until I was stuck on the floors going up and down, and I didn't know what floor kept opening. I don't know if somebody got in and pressed every damn floor because it was stopping at every single floor. And I was going to like the 13th, not the 13th, the 14th floor. Did you know that elevator floors don't have 13, buildings don't have 13 floors? Like,
Nope,
side
they
note,
don't.
but
Unlucky number, but yeah.
yeah, that
Either
was
way.
crazy. But anyways,
Hmm.
yeah. So I was going to one of the higher floors, but it kept stopping at every floor and nobody was getting on or off. And so on all of these elevators on the side of the walls, when you're getting out, there is a number of the floor in
Hmm.
Braille. And when I realized that and somebody told me that, I use it all the time now, because not elevators talk and say first floor, second floor, third
Right,
floor.
right,
But
exactly.
Just
Stick your
doing
hand
that
out there,
and
look at
then
that
feel
number.
it.
Hey,
Yes. And like,
hey,
oh,
if you
this is
ain't
my
on the right
floor.
floor, you stick it
This is
back
my
in,
floor.
or hey,
And
you
again,
proceed.
all you need to know is your numbers for that because it'll tell you what floor is on. So, I mean, I encourage you to learn full braille, but I'm not going to be the pot calling the kettle black
Hey,
because I don't know it.
just the light amount, I'm telling you,
But
it
yes,
will improve in many ways. And just
yes,
like the next thing, like socially. I've
that's what I was going to
used
say.
Braille to play I love dominoes, I love
Yeah,
spades, I love to play my cards, my poker. And I
yeah,
besides
no,
playing with my sighted friends, I pop out my Braille cards even on my sighted boys. They be like, all right, well, let's
mm-mm.
get with it. And
Yeah, right,
and it makes it so much fun. I don't have to ask them, oh, what's this? And
yeah.
all that other jazz they having fun with me. I'm having fun with my boys, my friends, and it just makes you overall feel good. Just overall, you should
Yeah,
have that skill set.
and that's social. Okay, so bringing that out because there's a few things that I want to say about the socializing and as it pertains and can help with self-development. And because one thing that is real and all of the things that we're talking about can probably help with this, but depression is real, y'all.
Man,
I mean,
big time.
it's not just a word we say, oh, I'm depressed. No, we can get depressed. I've been blind for 20 years and I sometimes find myself falling into depression, right? Just like
Um,
this, I don't
I've
know if
been through
it's,
stages of it. Like it
yeah, you
happens
just do. And sometimes
different
like,
times.
damn, if
Yeah,
I could see, I wouldn't do this. I'm just
yeah.
going to stay here. I'm just, well, and so we can get into that and we can get further down that little depression hole
Right. The
if we
slippery
don't
slope.
recognize it and do things that will, help with that depression. But so one of the things is socialize. If you stay in the house 24/7 and you don't ever
Mm,
go out,
no good.
I mean, come on, you're gonna be depressed,
Them walls is gonna just it's gonna hold you
man.
down.
And then on top of that, you're in there and all you're doing is thinking about all the things that you cannot do and all the ways that, you are being stopped from doing things that you feel like you could do because
Pushing
you're
out that
blind
negative
and
energy and your house just
exactly,
absorbing all that negative energy
man.
and you just sitting in it,
And then
just
you are that Debbie
never escape
Downer
it. Yes.
because nobody wants
Yes.
to be around you because you're sitting there and you're depressed and who
You
wants
ever
to be
just walked
around
in
that?
some one place, you just like, damn, this just
You
don't.
just
You
feel
just like, all
ugly.
right, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be here too long because
Yeah.
it's just this ain't it don't feel good in here.
Right.
Like
That is so true. It's so true. I'm
the energy,
sorry.
you really feel energy and you really push that energy out there.
So I know some of us are not, you know, social butterfly. I happen to be a social butterfly, so I
I
love to
feel
just
y'all on
go
not
out.
being
Yeah, I
non-sociable. I get it.
right. Some people don't like it. And I understand, I mean, I feel for you.
But I
I
still feel you gotta go out, even from like, as
because you
her
got to
being
push yourself out of your
exactly.
comfort zone because sometimes your comfort zone is not the best zone,
Right.
right?
Sometimes you just
So
gotta get out of it.
but a lot of people have come out and and matter of fact, BTT started on Clubhouse. That's a start with the social. We
Yeah.
have met so many of our very good friends we have met through Clubhouse
Yes,
that
indeed.
that we travel to and see and spend time with and but start there, start on and then of course they go, oh, I stay away from those. It's messy. Let me tell you, everywhere's messy.
Everywhere. All
Everywhere is
communities,
messy
both sides. The grass ain't
because
green and nowhere you look.
if you don't want messy, then you will be staying in your room in your house by yourself and falling down that depression
Only way
cycle
you can have
because
messy if you really put yourself in the messy.
in the
If
mess,
you know what I'm
exactly,
saying,
it's not
you
about
attend
that.
to the messy.
Stay
Exactly.
out of the mess. You can have fun and enjoy other people's company without being in the mess. It's not hard to do. And
Exactly.
I hate that we had to bring that up, but I'm
That's
sorry.
real.
Every time I try to encourage people to hang out. Oh, I don't mess with blind people. They messy. They too
Yeah,
messy.
that's what they say. Like
Well, shit.
you don't have
Anybody's
to be a part of
messy.
that
Can
mess.
be.
Exactly.
Yeah, anybody can be messy. Again,
Why we can't be the silver lining side note? Like, okay, you hear some, let's talk good, let's be positive,
right. But
whatever.
yeah, but
Hey,
it's right, right. But another thing too, you got to be selective with your friends, just like I mean,
well,
that's not
that
even a
too.
blind or
Everybody's
sighted
not for
thing.
everybody. That's just real. That's
Right.
personal. I
If
mean,
you
that's what
find
it is.
somebody that, that you enjoy common things with, you just know what it is. If you maybe keep your mouth shut. Don't be the one starting the mess and it won't be no
Yeah,
mess.
yeah,
And
no, you ain't really gotta let everybody know. Hey,
right.
it's all
You
good,
know.
but definitely like it's good to have some type of social activity, like
And not
for
even
real.
that. What about just going locally? So many of us, Houston is huge. So I don't know about other
Yeah,
stuff, but we have so many different little social groups here that just do stuff like have a lunch outing once a
yeah,
month.
lunching, or they do this
Just the little
organization, they do a little
activities
walking.
that's
Just
do
nice to just get
yeah,
out and go for a Saturday walk
right.
or something.
So,
Hey, it's
that's
plenty of things to get yourself out.
yes, that is what
Or
and
you just take yourself to a restaurant. Just
Uh,
hey.
you, I shoot, I've never had a problem doing things by my. I will go to a
What?
restaurant by myself.
I'll
I
find
don't.
to have some interesting conversation running into just new
Right.
people at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'm not the talkative like type, y'all. I'm not really the one that's gonna approach or initiate. I can hold a conversation and have one, and I find myself like
Yeah. And you know
opening
what?
up and having really wonderful conversations.
Yeah, that's all good. I forgot about that one though. I'm not. I promote. I mean, I encourage others if they want to do that, but I don't want to do that because I prefer, you know, I'd rather be around blind people
Like,
and
yeah, you have those
spark up that
who's a
conversation
little daring.
because,
I
you
like to
know,
be a lot more
going to a
around more
restaurant
relatable.
by yourself with nobody, I mean, you can become this the what is it, spectacle?
You can be.
You
Or
know,
hey, you can
people that
become
sit
that
there.
whole energy and be like, the how you
Yeah,
spend it. It's
yeah,
how you
yeah.
spend it.
Okay, let me stop being Debbie Downer right
Chosen
now.
one.
So,
Yeah, I know. Truly up in this game, baby. I know what it is. All right, all right.
all
That
right,
energy strong.
but that's another thing though too, seek with those support groups that are out there. I mean,
Yes,
that
indeed. Real
that's
talk.
important. It really is. Reach out, find it. Another thing you can Google again, Google it. You can
Man,
Google it. You can even ask Alexa, ask,
all these new AIs,
mm-hmm.
these chat EBTs and all that. Yeah, hey, man,
Right.
I'm telling you, that'll
Exactly.
pull out a lot
Yeah.
of information. You just ask it, and you
Yeah.
just hey, you want to find out some things. So it's definitely ways of locating information. It's out here, y'all.
So another thing I just wanted to point up with my self-development, journey is, and we brought this up earlier with my organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of, for me, and sometimes, you don't have to be as anal as I am with it as far as my organization, but having some type of structure, organization in your day-to-day living,
Some type of flow.
something, right?
Mm-hmm.
A
Mm-hmm.
routine, some type of physical organization in your bedroom, in your home.
Or aware of
Um,
your days, calendars. Keep track of your, just
yes. And
hey.
again, doesn't have to be as, you know, obsessive or, very detailed like that. But here's the thing. When people are messy and just things thrown everywhere, you can't find nothing and all this stuff, that kind of weighs into your day-to-day living, right?
Yep.
So you're messy,
Yep. How you
mentally to
live
me.
is
Yeah, it's
how your actions gonna be.
yes,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? There's going to
And
flow into that.
it's just everything's everywhere. You're disorganized and
You're gonna
you
be
know,
everywhere.
yeah, you
Your
just
work
don't
is gonna be everywhere. Your
mm-hmm,
hobbies, just
exactly.
everything's gonna be everywhere.
Exactly. So, I just wanted to, say some type of organization, and just in your day-to-day routines and what you do. It just can make things a little bit easier for you um, in just for success, period.
Yes, indeed.
Um, and then another thing is safety. Okay.
Some
Um,
type of it. Hey,
yeah,
it
because
helps.
you
Hello.
you know it's just to be aware of your surroundings. Do you ever um notice sometimes when people or a blind person could do, and I, because I'm around us a lot. So, somebody's just walking, la 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 la, and they're just walking,
Walking.
and they have no clue or idea of
What they done passed over, like
right.
anything, just
Yeah,
not aware.
right. It's not aware. Um, there's a car there, there's a fire hydrant there. There could be, it's just, I
I'm
don't
not
know.
saying you got to be totally just engorged with your surroundings, but be mindful, pay attention, be observant. It's okay.
And use
Listen.
the scale, your another thing too, because is your canes and or a guide. How
Yeah.
many times have I seen a blind person? I just ran one of my coworkers today was in our building, and he was walking through the building, and I can tell it just the way he was taking his steps, I can tell he was like, oh, I'm traveling with I don't have my cane with me, and I'm just like, oh my God, how dangerous. Like
Mm, mm,
I am so nervous when I mean, of course, I do have a couple of paths that I don't use my cane, right? Because it's just right
mm.
there. But our building is huge, and it's not a matter of you'll get lost, right? It's a
It
matter
just went.
of you never know what could be in front of you, what could be moved there. We don't know what carts or bookcase, anything can be in front of you. You could still, a couple of weeks ago, they had the AC people doing some repairs, and there was a freaking ladder right in the pathway between my office and the restroom.
Mm.
Nobody told me about that.
I see.
And so
Without the
I
cane, would have ran right into that
what
or
would have
something.
right and the crazy part is and this is I felt the ladder with my cane, and I didn't realize what it was, and I still ended up hitting my head at the top of
Oh
it. So
no.
I know, right?
Oh girl.
but
Beauty marks,
but
still
right,
beautiful.
but
But
it's
the
just
let me flip that, and
hmm
let me also, because I was once the person who wasn't too cool for the cane. I even tried it again when I was in college, around the hallways. Just I don't have to use my cane. I can walk
hmm
just as quick and whatnot. Boom, bumped into a bench, did a spin move, then I start, shuffle footing. And that whole time I had a friend, and a good friend of mine, I miss my girl. She came and she was like, bro, like, I think you really should have your cane with you because you look scared.
yeah, right.
And I was just like,
that
dang,
and it
and it
shows.
really shows, instead of my confident self, moving around just with my
Yes.
stride, because I'm tall, and I walk different with my cane, or I walk different when I have my guide dog. And that day I decided, I was rushing. I just left everything.
That
And
and that's so
just look,
crazy because
you
that's
look so weird.
and I can't even see, and I can tell that I can tell he was nervous. You could just the way he was walking was just kind of
I don't
slow, and
want
he
to
was
look
just like,
nervous, man.
and I was
Look
like,
confident about
and he
yourself.
was like, yeah, I don't have my cane. I was like, and I said, oh my God, I'd be so nervous without my cane. He was like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm making it happen,
yeah.
but it is, and it does show
Learn
that
those valuable
confidence.
lessons,
It can
especially
make
if
you
you want to.
vulnerable too,
Yeah,
because the outside world is an ugly place, and people can
it can make you really timid.
prey on us as
Very.
victims. You can
Yeah,
become a victim in a situation
for
where your
sure.
confidence is not showing. So, okay, I mean, I think I know we have talked a lot, y'all, but there's one more thing I just want to touch on, um, and that is self-care.
Hmm. Hello.
No, I know because
Man,
there
this makes you
is
feel good if you feel good.
it does though. I mean, the thing is, I learned this later on in life because I was always one that just took care of everybody else, took care of everybody else, and you know, everybody else was always my concern. But
Yeah,
why did I neglect
yourself.
to take care of me?
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
And sometimes self-care, it doesn't have to be anything, and it doesn't have to cost anything, you know. Even though there are things that I do like to do that, pamper me, like, I'll get my pedicures and my nails done. And,
Yeah,
just because I'm girly girl like that and I like to do those type of things.
those type of
But
things, right?
Right. But self-care is so much more than that. It can be just, you know what, let me take a minute or two or 10 and just sit here and just relax
Meditate. Yeah.
and breathe
Enjoy
and
the moment.
meditate and
Yeah.
get rid of all these negative thoughts because there's so many things that we are stressed on
Mm.
and stress about that we can stress about
Right.
that we, you know, we can't clear our minds of it. And we have
Yes.
to figure out a way to clear our minds of that if it's just for a couple of minutes. Because if you are sitting there stressed and cannot get these things,
No
again,
function.
what
No
happens,
good.
and I say this all the time, stress kills. That is so not an
Yeah.
under that's
That's a
that's
big
not,
deal. It's a big
you know,
deal. So it's really good to take that time to reset,
and there's
just
things, just read a book.
as breathing
I
methods,
read it.
music,
Music, exactly.
you know,
Self-care. Just do. If you enjoy baking, get in there and bake.
make you something. If you
You know,
enjoy doing something with your hand going down, carve you
yeah,
something out with your hands.
yes. Go for a walk. Is
No.
that's what we're saying
Hit
about
the
too.
weights, do some yoga,
Exercise.
do some Tai Chi,
Yeah.
some
And
martial arts or something.
and that's true. Cause right now, like I'm into my kickboxing and I did a kickboxing class today and I tell you guys, I forgot that it was exercise, right? I just released so much. That was some self-care for me.
I have
Just
fun and just
release
letting
right.
it go. Hmm.
And it just seems like when I have that type of mindset when I'm going into this, it becomes this is my self-care. This is my outlet. This is what I enjoy doing. I am not
Yeah,
thinking or worried about anything,
I don't.
you know. Self-care, it's key. And another key I want to hint I want to give people. This is coming from a control freak. Okay. Everything, I have to control everything. But one of the
That's our
things that
sassy.
I've learned, yes, so I'm working on it. I'm still work in progress. But um, one of the things though, we have to understand and learn to accept things that we cannot control.
Real talk. I'm
Okay.
learning that as well as a
It's
Leo.
hard.
It's really
It's
is. Being
hard.
a leader, you still have to like grasp that understanding. Like
Right.
everything's not going to be in your control. It's not going to lead your
Yeah.
way or go the way
Right.
that you would like
Yeah.
for it to lead
And
to. It's
imagine
okay.
those of us with control freak issues, right? Because if I cannot control it, it's just like, oh my God, no, I have to control, which I've gotten better, but I have came to the understanding if I cannot control it, I am not going to stress about it because there is nothing I can do to change this.
Real talk.
And stress kills. Again, I'll say
Hey,
it again.
release, let it go. Feel it,
And
feel it leave your
and if you
fingertips.
can control it, then guess what? Then control it, change
Hey,
it, edit it, modify it,
modify it in your way. Make it positive
right.
and do what you need to do with it.
And don't sit there and complain about it and stress
Or
on it.
dwell on it.
So
Exactly.
either or, if you can control it, then
Make it
fix
happen.
it. If
If
you
not,
cannot, let it
let it
go.
go.
There you
Salute.
go. Words from, not professionals, but
Truer
just
words have never been spoken.
people that, we've been there. I'm pretty sure that anything most of you can think of or come up with or thought of, like between our little circle here, at BTT, in our circle of friends, somebody has gone through what
Oh, yeah.
you're going through.
Oh, yeah. This ain't new to y'all, but this is for our babies
Yeah.
that's coming up behind us. Hey, we really hope y'all get something from it. Like, real talk.
Yes.
Do
Yes,
something with it,
absolutely.
baby. Do something with it. Y'all got the powers.
Blind Table Talk, yeah.
All righty, y'all. Welcome to the BVI podcast scene. Today we have a good show for y'all. I'm excited to introduce this brother. He has been doing a wonderful thing with his show. Welcome to the table, Mr. Dominique Parker, known as Blind Justice. My man, welcome to the table.
Hey guys, how you feeling today?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. I can't complain, man. I really appreciate you just taking this time out just to sit down, podcaster to podcaster, and just, we get to
Right.
talk about the shows and, spread the awareness and, get our listeners to see that we actually are out here just trying to better the community in different
Right.
ways.
Right.
And so for my listeners, go ahead, go ahead and tell them the name of your show and just a little bit about yourself, like your blindness and everything.
Okay, so I am Blind Justice. The name of the channel is Blind Justice, the way I see it. I got a few shows on there. There's This Is Us, which is an interview show that I have with other people who are also blind and visually impaired in the community. I got a show called Jiminy Cricket's Corner, which is kind of like a self-reflection of my life and giving advice at the same time. I am the host of a talent show, which includes blind and visually impaired people. And then I also do a little bit of dancing, just trying to keep the blood pumping and all of that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it, man. My man is in it all, different umbrellas and all of it for the betterment of the community, man. I'm loving that how you just inclusive, with the BVI, just how we just out here. And so tell us a little bit about yourself. What is your blindness range?
So I actually am totally blind in every aspect of the phrase. So when I tell y'all everything is black, I don't see any colors, no shapes, no shadows, no none of that.
Right on.
I actually lost my sight through to diabetic retinopathy. I was a juvenile diabetic at the age of 9, and I'm sure everybody's heard this story before, but not taking care of it and all of those things. I ended up going into kidney failure, heart failure. I ended up losing the sight, and then also other few health issues. But I was able to get a transplant to kind of fix the diabetes. So now I'm just dealing with the blindness.
Man, what a powerful thing, my man, just to be able to stay positive, keep the foot forward, and hey, you was able to get that corrected, and look at you now, man, just out here doing the thing. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So for my listeners, tell me what got you into the podcast? Like what inspired that?
So, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. I had gone through so many health issues that I was like, Lord, if you give me one more shot, I'm telling you, I'm going to, share my story in efforts to help somebody. And I got my shot. And so as I was learning how to navigate and taking the classes on how to be independent and live on my own and yada, yada, I ended up getting introduced to a Facebook group called the Blind Pen Pals. Now, until then, I had always felt like I was the only blind person out there. And if there were other blind people, they were older. So, of course, they wouldn't understand. But when I got into this particular group, I ended up meeting a good friend of mine, Chris Jones. And he was just really kind of promoting his, own thing as well. And so through us talking, which I got forwarded a video of his, he was like, you know what? You would make a good podcaster. Now, it never crossed my mind, never even thought about it. But I was like, okay, well, I mean, I like to talk, so why not? So that was where the first show, This Is Us, was born. And essentially, it's an interview show, which all I was doing was I felt like, wow, there's thousands upon thousands of people in this group, and none of them know each other. So I wanted to give each person that I could the opportunity to come on, tell their story, and so that people could then, feel comfortable reaching out or just, finding that they may have something in common. And that was really the birth of, that as a whole. And now I hadn't had the channel by this point in time, but I was doing the interviews, and the same guy suggested in his own clever way that I also put together a talent show. So I was like, okay, I feel like you're trying to, whip me into working shape, but okay, I hear you, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I put out the call and I said, hey, look, if you guys got any talent, let's just put it out there and just show the people that, hey, we can do stuff too, regardless of what your talent is. Let's share it. Let's talk about it. Let's show, everybody. So I ended up coming up with a talent show called the Blind Lounge Talent Show, and only because it was specifically shown within that group. So it was a private group, so you had to be in the group to see the talent show. After the first season, which I had to call in a lot of favors, I got a good strong cast to come and participate.
Yeah.
And after that first season, it was off and running. I was getting hit up by lots of people who wanted to come on and sing and play instruments. I had even gotten a group of people who wanted to do spoken word, poetry, and ultimately that particular talent show lasted for 3 seasons. And after I ended up leaving the group, that was when I felt like, okay, let me take all of my stuff and let's make a channel out of it. So I took, obviously the interviews, the first 3 seasons of the talent show, and then I continued on the talent show, which ultimately ended up being called Coming to the Stage. I felt fresh new look, fresh new, cast, all of that. And so after that, we ended up doing 2 more seasons underneath the title of Coming to the Stage. And then last but not least, aside from the dancing videos, I had gone through so many things throughout my journey. Health issues, meeting people, growing as a man, dealing with blindness, being a Black man, being a gay man, just doing all of those things and having to learn how to make peace with it. And I felt like, along with helping other people tell their stories, that I needed to also tell mine.
Of course.
And so I felt like just being as open and transparent as I possibly could, that maybe that might inspire somebody, to say, hey, well, he went through it, so can I. Or even if it was he did that, I sure don't want to make them mistakes. Let me not go down that
There we
path.
go. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, either way you learn from it, you learn it, right?
Exactly. So for me, I felt like that show was the promise that I was keeping to God, that I said that I was going to make a difference with my story. For those who don't know, my favorite Disney movie is Pinocchio.
Okay.
And my favorite character or Disney character is Jiminy Cricket. And I always found his character to be so interesting because to be such a small, a cricket, literally the size of a cricket,
right.
But he played the role of Pinocchio's conscience.
Yeah.
And just to really see how he was trying to make sure that he kept Pinocchio from making those mistakes and make sure he was the voice of reason and was sharing, of his own experience and stuff like that. I was like, wow, there's a lot in common between me and Jiminy. So that was the inspiration to name the show Jiminy Cricket's Corner.
Man, I'm just smiling so hard because I'm this is a beautiful thing, my man. This is what we need more, in our community. Like you said, this though, no matter if you say, hey, I don't want to do what he did or he's inspired me to do this, it's still that, we have someone out here showing us that, hey, this is my testimony and, it's still possible. Nothing is impossible.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so for my listeners and for the fans, so how the name Blind Justice come about?
So I am a huge Marvel fan. I'm the comic book nerd that still goes out to get the comics. There's a local comic book shop here where I live at, and I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
So it's just something to me about the superhero who can still put on his cape and save the day, but then still musters up the energy and the time to still be able to grow within himself and learn a lot about what life has to offer for himself. Look, shout out to all my Marvel fans, X-Men, all of that.
Hey, right up.
Blind Justice to me rang in my ears as superhero vigilante. So to me, it just stuck. I was just like, yeah, this is going to be me. This is me doing what I do, but being inspired by what has always rang so true for me, even as a kid. And then with the channel part, the name of the channel, I remember I was sitting down with my stepmother at the time. Shout out goes to my stepmother, Clea.
Big shout out.
I was like, oh man, I need a name to the channel. I just don't know what to call it. I mean, Blind Justice is great, but who's gonna want to watch a channel that just has somebody's name on it? And so I'm like, come on, help me to come up with a channel name. And she was like, well, you just telling them from your vantage point, right? And I said, yeah, pretty much the way I see things. And she was like, there you go. Blind Justice, the way I see it.
Man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That such energy, man. I love it. I love it. Wow, man. And you know, and it's it's out there. Because when I first heard like Blind Justin, I was just like, man, what an incredible name. Like, man, I just like, ooh. I should have thought of something like that. Cause that's just like just to hear it's just like I'm one of those, I'm a big comic fan, all that good jazz. So just hearing something similar to it. So I definitely agree with you on that one. The whole Blind Justin definitely holds a good key. And then to go with the channel, the way I see it, like, what a good way to bring that all together. So, just for the listeners, so how often are you putting the episodes out, and how can they reach out to you if they want to be a part of the episodes or anything?
So as far as reaching out and wanting to be a part, when I tell all of you guys, just, hey, Dominic, I want to be interviewed. Or hey, Dominic, can I participate in this? When I tell you, I'm open to whoever. When I arms wide open, you want to come on in? The door swings wide open.
Love it.
Now, the only thing for me as far as putting out content, I consider my channel to be very grassroots. When I tell you the basic, just simplest, because I feel like I started from humble beginnings. And I just want to me, there's a certain level of just authenticity of just, wow, it's just him, a camera, and he just telling his story. I feel like that to me, it's something about that just feels so genuine. And so, for most people, like I said, I try not to follow a schedule, which I know sounds crazy. I try to do it more when it's, if either somebody reaches out, or if the spirit just so hits me,
natural
say, hey,
time.
What? Yeah, right. And I find that from my experience, because again, I try not to look at things and say, oh, well, I can do this and I'm good at this. Those who know me best know that I am constantly critiquing myself. I'm my own worst enemy. So it surprises me every time I put out these shows, and they're like, oh, Dominic, that's great. You should do more. Da 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 da. And so in my mind, I'm like, wow, maybe I need to start applying some of this stuff to myself, because, the demand is out there.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we do these podcasts and these shows for our, listeners, and, for the community, to show that, these are the testimonies. Like I said, it's still possible. Is nothing wrong with getting out here doing it. And I like the authenticity, and just being ourselves and just being genuine on the cameras and being vulnerable that way. And so, and I love how the open arms, you just like, hey, Dominic, I want to be on the show.
Let's go.
Let's go. But so we're gonna for sure, for our listeners, we're gonna put the link up to the channel so they can be able to follow and everything. Before we get up out of here, though, any last words you want to drop to our people, though? Let them know.
I've always said this to people who I've run across in my life, because it was so monumental to me when I was going through all of my struggles and what I had to, when I had to, learn how to grow or how to let go of certain behaviors or, all of that. Something that somebody once told me that I'll always ring in the back of my head is, there is no correct way to do anything. You are living your life the way that it is intended for you to live your life. Don't go by nobody else's timeline, nobody else's rule book. You live your best life the way you know to live your best life. Never compare yourself to anybody else. And hopefully that word will stick true to each of you.
And we gonna drop the gavel on that one like that. Yeah, Blind Justice, y'all have it, y'all. Blind Justice, the channel, the way I see it, man. Please follow my man. You know what I'm saying? Blessings, my brother. I really appreciate you, man. Nothing but love.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on.
Yes, indeed.
Blind Table Talk, yeah.
I think it's about that time.
No, not yet. Is it the end of the show?
Man, we done talked a lot, though. That was beautiful. Like,
Somebody
look,
shut us up.
She done got me out my shell. I'm not really the one that talk. I probably done talked a little bit faster than what I normally talk. I got excited on this one, y'all. I don't know. It's just something about bettering ourselves, But
I know.
It's beautiful.
It was a great. But hey, you know what? Too, if any of you listeners have any of your own tips and suggestions or strategies for self-development, self-improvement, share them with us. Send them to us, info@blindtabletalk.com.
I already know.
Yes. And also, again, I know we said it before, but one thing that I didn't stress about was joining our email list. Please join our email list. And you can go
at blindtabletalk.com. Please
you
join,
can
y'all.
email there and hit subscribe, or you can also go straight to the website where there's other information on there as well.
Yes, indeed.
And join from there as well. And stay tuned for all of our raffles that are coming up, cash prize winners, all
Money.
Hey.
Hey.
And just be on the lookout, y'all. Thank y'all so much
Appreciate
for your
y'all,
support. For your support. We look forward. We do this for you. This is, without you, there would be no reason or no need for us. So thank you all.
Yes, indeed. All right, y'all know where to find us. Until next time, be blessed, y'all.
Blind Table Talk, yeah.